of Shoftim is a transitional kufa between that and Malchus. Now, for my own svora, which I haven't seen anyone that said, but I would think it's a svora to say that there were different shlavim, there were different madregas as we go further, and that in a certain sense Yiftach was that Yiftach. I don't see it by every pratistic as others so much, but by Yiftach it seems evident that this was in a certain sense a beginning of the inyan of Malchus. That Yiftach in particular seems to be, that's what it would be an inyan of Malchus. And again, we spoke about the certain inyan.
Does that mean that Rebbe, should we then expect that Mamela, the next one, should be even more closer?
So that's
Shimshon seems to be the opposite direction.
So that's the problem.
Okay.
But Shimshon is not the problem.
Oh.
I'll tell you why. I think I mentioned that Shimshon is Shimshon's main tafkid, his nagdus, his was against the Plishtim. And the Grozal says that Plishtim is the Am that is the most opposed to Malchus Beis David. The Grozal says beferish. That's explicitly says that, but he says Plishtim were. He says that's the shot that when they heard that they're going to be to give the Malchus to David, they came and they attacked, whatever. That they are the Am that's most opposed to Malchus Beis David.
Are they still around now?
What?
Are the Pushtim supposed to be still around nowadays?
I'm trying to remember. Are they mentioned in Pei Gimel? I don't remember if they're mentioned in Pei Gimel. Until in Pei Gimel.
They're not the Palestinians. There is no such
however
thing
much
as
they would want to
Palestinians.
claim.
Right.
No, they claim they're the Canaanites.
That's
They
true.
claim whatever, they claim everything.
For some reason, to me, the transition that you said, Shoftim, made the nation vulnerable. Different things happened. While if it was better to have a continuity, so immediately the Malchut comes, because it's like all of a sudden Moshe passed away, then there is Yoshua, but then there is years goes by, and it's make more vulnerable to have different things happen.
Well, but in a certain sense, this as Hashem Yisborach, if we come to be able to go into the difference, but in a certain sense you could look at it the other way, because, and that's what Shmuel seems to say, is that when you don't have a melech, in a certain sense, is directly with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. In other words, that a shofet is only that which comes to say the mishpat al pi Hashem, and he says so. And when he went to HaKadosh Baruch Hu and he said they're being Moas in me, HaKadosh Baruch Hu says no, they're being Moas in me. That the Baruch Hu says that Klal Yisrael is rejecting me, not rejecting you. Because it means that up until the time where it changes from a shofet to a melech, is that it's directly that there's no in between. The shofet is a different type of in between. He's conveying what he understands that HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants, whereas the Hanogas HaMelech is a different Hanoga. It's not the same thing, but we have to say that it is greater. Because that's the shleimus.
Yeah.
But so the Meforshim speak again. That's what we have to wait to the Bezer Hashem. But the Meforshim speak. What was wrong? They're supposed to make a melech. Why did Shmuel react that way? What was something wrong in that they were doing, that Kaiser was doing, and asking Melech when the Torah says Som Tasim Alecha Melech. So what was wrong with their asking for Melech? So some say the way they asked it, Kichol Agoyim, whatever. But we'll have to wait to Be'ez Hashem. But I'm just saying that.
They wanted to be like the other countries.
Right, Kichol Agoyim. Right.
That's what was wrong.
Yeah, some say that was what was wrong. That was what was wrong. But so it just you see a very I think I'm again mentioned said this before, but that there's a Yiftach. Number one is that Yiftach, I believe was the one time it says that HaKadosh Baruch Hu. I answered your when you were asking.
Rebbe said Shimshon wasn't the problem. Shmuel is more.
Yeah, right. And it should be Lefi said that it does come closer. Now, the end of Shoftim. I mentioned this in the beginning of Shoftim. The end of Shoftim, the last pasuk says, "Vayom Amayim Ein Melech B'Yisrael, Ish HaYoshev Beinav Yaseh." That is the end of the tekufa is that this is not the right matzav.
Yeah.
In other words, that's what it's saying. So I'm just saying that, but here
But it's like going from the top to down.
I don't think
No, he means in terms of Moshe, what we had in terms of a leader of Moshe, and then Shoftim was like, until finally we get to a Melech.
It's like you said, it is
Asher
the law.
b'tzilo
Maybe
Asher
Shmuel
b'tzilo
something.
nichya.
I think that again that the shoftim you could say are just the opposite. That the shoftim are you would look at it as being, but it's a good shot. I'm thinking that when you have a transition, so you're building up to that point.
Okay.
You know, it's until you're ready to until it's ready to be able, just like kibbutz.
Kal Kalmanes Livnos. Kal Kalmanes Livnos.
Right. It keeps on building till it reaches that point where you can have a melech, which is really from Shmuel. This is one of the points I wanted to say.
Does anyone make it sound that the Tkufa of Shoftim is like Misas Malchin Kadma, and like Ilu, first you have to have a Harisa in order to then build?
I
Okay,
didn't
fine.
see. I mean, that's not a raya, but I didn't see
okay.
such a thing. I didn't see. The Indian of the Shoftim that you have that I mentioned before that we're learning about Gidom, about Yerubal, that it says the Chazal say Yerubal b'Dairo Kimoshe b'Dairo. So Yiftach b'Dairo Kishmul b'Dairo, and it goes through a few. So when you say the Parshim Shad would say means that in each door, the rosh of that door is mamish the rosh and is all the strength of a rosh of according to that door, as in a door where there's someone who's much greater. If you took Moshe Rabbeinu and you compared to Moshe Rabbeinu to Yubal, about Moshe Rabbeinu, there's no question that Moshe Rabbeinu is a completely different slope than Yubal, but is a completely different on a different madrega and much greater in that sense than Yubal. But that's the point. The point is that Moshe and Yubal, in their particular door, this was the absolute rosh of that door. You can't say, well, it's because we didn't have this rosh. It's because we didn't have that rosh. No, the rosh of the door is exactly what we need for that door. That's the rosh of each door. Yiftach was for his door, the same as Shmuel was for his door. And you could not have had a Shmuel in that door. It would not have been the correct Hanoga. It wouldn't serve the tafkid of what a rosh is supposed to be. So, but there was another Nakuda that mentioned that from the Sforim, that the Sforim say that Yubal B'Dairo Ki Moshe B'Dairo is that Yubal also had something in him similar to Moshe Rabbeinu. As it wasn't,
What,
they
what
were-
is that?
what?
What is that?
We had,
Chesed or something?
no,
Patience.
something like that. I mean, the Meforshim say that there was when he answered the Kadosh Baruch Hu, when the Kadosh Baruch Hu sent the Shliach, and he said that Ribono Shalom, you where are your niflos? You're saying that you're going to my father spoke about it, but I don't see where the niflos that you for our door. So the malach or the shliach answers back, kazeh, that go with this, and it says that's what it means. Go, because this is similar to Moshe Rabbeinu, what Moshe Rabbeinu is. So that's what the Swarm say that. And I think we went into further into what the Yiftar, because it was like Yitzias Mitzrayim. It was many things that had to do with similar to Yitzias Mitzrayim by Yiftar, by Gidon. So here, you should l'chora. If I would think that you would apply the same thing. Yiftar B'Daro is Kishmur B'Daro. It means that besides the certain shot that it means that Yiftach must be similar to Shmuel. So I'm just leaving that as a ha'orman. But there is one thing about Malchus that you see that's very bolate, that stands out here, is that who did Yiftach, who did he fight? He fought Ammon. That was the Am that came, and therefore they said, the Bnei Gilad said, whoever will fight Ammon, that will be the one who fights. He will be the Rosh of all Bnei Gilad. So I think this is the first place that they said he will be like a Melech. In other words, they're saying the one who fights against Ammon, he will be. We're going to make him the Rosh of all Bnei Gilad. I didn't check it to all the places, but it's the one that I remembered that it's the one that they are certainly making him some type of they're saying a Rosh, and that he will be the Rosh of all Bnei Gilad afterwards, that he will be the Rosh. On this, in other words, it's not it's not from the Ribono Shalom is appointing him Rosh. It's that they're makabel on him as being the Rosh of all Bnei, whoever it is, all Bnei Gilad. Who is Ammon? Ammon is from the Bnos Lot. There's Ammon and Moab, and they're Bnei Ammon. There's Ammon and Moab. So Ammon is, they said when they were saying who is going to fight against Ammon, that when they say it, when Klal Yisrael said it, they said a lashon that Vayomer ha'am sari Gilad isha mi ha'ish asher yochel l'hilochem b'vnei Ammon. Who's the person that will begin the milchama against Bnei Ammon? Vayochel, he'll begin. So I think it's a Chazal, that who was the one who finished? The one who finished was David HaMelech. David HaMelech was the one that, and why is it that David HaMelech is the one who finished against Ammon? It would seem that it's a continuation from Yiftach, who did the first Nitzachon over Ammon, to David HaMelech, who completed the Nitzachon against Ammon. Why is it that David HaMelech had to complete the David HaMelech comes, but maybe I'll say that the Chazal say, in other words, Ammon and Moab it says not to fight against them, to destroy them, because they're two good, Shnei Pradas Tovas, the two that will come from Ammon and Moab that are not to be destroyed. That's why not to destroy Ammon and Moab, because there are two that will come from there. Where is that? The one is Rus. Who was that? Rus
Nama.
and Nama. So Rus and Nama are actually the Yesod of Malchus Beis David. Rus is from, it comes directly from, and Nama is by Shlomo Melech is Rechavam. So there's a chiluk between the two. You say, again, I can't say if it's every time. I didn't see it every time if it's like this, but the many times that I've seen, it says it calls them Moav, and they call them B'nai Ammon. I don't think that it calls usually B'nai Moav. I think usually is Moav and B'nai Ammon. And in our psukim here, in these psukim, it says Vayitzaku B'nai Ammon, Vayachanu Yochel Hilochem B'nai Ammon. I mean, Keseder just it continues with B'nai Ammon. So there's a Chazal. Chazal say that the Shnei Benos Lot had to be that David HaMelech, that Malchus Beis David had to incorporate the two of Moab and Ammon, because Mitzad HaTuma there was Moab and Bnei Ammon. They were Mitzad HaTuma, and it says that he had to incorporate the two koiches to be matire them, to be mekadesh, but they had to come into Klal Yisrael. And these are the two, the two Benos Lot is the koyach of the Yetzer Hara in a shurish of Yetzer Hara in the Bria. The two kochos of Benos Lot are the Yesodis of Yetzer Hara in the Bria.
I'm sorry to ask. I can wait until you finish. No, there's this famous story in the Igros Moshe with the Moshe and the daughter, this fellow that was sick and the daughters.
Right.
So it bothers me when we speak about. So there he was critical of. I mean, I know it's a story with the Moshe and it's not. You can't ask on big things, but the whole thing is with the fellow. He died and he was sick and he said that. She called it Me'av. She said that it was because I did it because I thought that the world was going to be. So, but it seems like we're still very, very critical, even though
100%. So that's what I'm saying. It has both things.
Right.
In other words, the fact that it had to be incorporated means that there had to be something mamish tov,
right.
and at the same time, the Chazal say that they were the shirish of and we see that the poil. Ammon and Moab were Sonei Yisrael. In other words, we see that they always and so
one time.
it calls Bnei Moab.
No, Ammon, just plain Ammon, not Bnei Ammon.
But the rest of the time it says Bnei Ammon.
Yeah, the one time is in Shmuel Aleph. Vayaku es Ammon ad Chom Hayom. Shmuel Aleph Yud Aleph.
It's very interesting because I'm efshir to say pshat in that, but with what the Chazal say that the two koiches are that from Moab comes the koach of the Yetzer Hara that comes from Peor, and that's what we see Benos Moab, that the Benos Moab were by Baal Peor, and that was that they were Machshel Klal Yisrael. And that was that's the Baal Peor. So this I'm saying over Mamash this Chazal, because I'll say that was Peor. It says Bnei Ammon were Malchum.
Where?
I'm not sure if the Malchum.
That's what Molech.
That's
what they're pagan.
this was. That when David HaMelech fought against Ammon,
Oh,
they found a kesser. They found
Right.
they found an atorah. They found a crown.
Lo Halam.
Right, lahom. Right. So it says that was Ammon. Right. That was the Muhammad Keneged Ammon. They found that. What did this kesser do?
It shows the Malchei Yisrael, Malchei Yehuda,
It chose.
Malchei Beis David.
It chose who would be.
Yeah.
Notice, it fit David HaMelech
Exclusively.
exclusively, and it says that it was a tremendously heavy. It says the weight of this Hatorah, and the only one it fit him perfectly.
Because of the pas that it
Right,
had.
because of the thing that had it, the bar that had it. But it says that from this they chose the B'nai David HaMelech, who would be Roy for Malchus by putting on, and it says even a Tinok from Beis David you could put it on its head and it would be able to carry it.
Where's this brought down?
This is in other words the psukim.
Do you want to know the Gemara?
No, I mean,
It's a Gemara,
I don't know. No, even if
It's
it's in the
It's a
Gemara is a few Gemaras in Sanhedrin and Avodah Zorah.
Okay. Okay.
So, but Vayotzi es Ben Hamelech, Vayitain Olav es Hanezer, Ve'es Ha'edus, Vayamlichu also, Vayimshacheu, Vayakucha Vayomu Yechi Hamelech.
Which one is this? Which
This
Melech?
is Melachim Beis
No,
Yud
which,
Aleph.
but which Melech is that?
This is
Azar. That's the one that was hidden?
um,
Because Adonia also it didn't fit Adonia, but it fit Shlomo.
right, because this was what chose. I think it's it's Yoash, I think. Yoash.
Well, that was hidden in
That
the
was hidden.
Hekdashim.
Right. So they took him, and then later they crowned him with this. So Rashi brings down over here the Gemara. He says, "The Rabboseinu Amru, Hanezer Hua Edus." The crown itself was the Edus, who would be the Melech. Shekol Aroy Lamalchus Homaso, because whoever was Roy for Malchus, it would fit.
He was
And it
10
would-
years old.
What?
He
So
was
they-
just a boy.
So it says that even our Philotino, Ushe'ena Royal Malchus, Aina Homaso. So this was it. So what is it? It means that the Hemshich of Malchus Beis David
Wow.
was determined
From Ham.
by the Torah of Ammon. So the koach of the continuity was through Ammon, and that is exactly what it was. In other words, you had that by the Rus was the shirish of the whole Malchus Beis David. The continuation of Malchus Beis David was from Naama, was Rechavam, was from Shlomo Melech. So that is the hemshich of the Malchus Beis David is determined by Ammon. It comes from Ammon. So therefore, and this is the koach of what Ammon was, because Ammon was the hemshich of Lot, of her father. That in other words, of the hemshich. Why? Because that was what they said. They said Olam Chesed Yibana. That they said that the only way that there could be a Kiyum Habriya, because they said there's no one else to have the Kiyum Habriya, and in a certain sense they were right, because from Lot comes Mashiach, from them comes Mashiach. Without this Yibum, there's not in a certain sense, there's not a Mashiach. And Mamela, Olam Chesed Yibana, they did this Chesed to build the Bria. every time this, but the Yibum itself is based on a heter of an Isser. The Rebbeinu Shem said it's Aser Eishes Achir, but the Maisa is that for Yibum is Hutra Tzchilibum. But so the Maisa is that it's this is Yehud and Tamar. This is so the open comes in such a way, but Avada it involved a Tuma, and the Chazal say that David HaMelech had to incorporate the two Benos Lot, because if he wouldn't have done that, he would not have been able to be Menatzeach the Umas Olam. The koyach to be Menatzeach Umas Olam is because he was koilo these two koiches in his malchus.
But it wasn't him. It was Shlomo that then brought Ammon.
What?
It was Shlomo that brought Ammon.
Right, but
Although I'm saying because he defeated Ammon
right,
beforehand.
right. And if he wouldn't have, that's the Lashon Chazal. If they wouldn't have taken these two, then he would not have been able to defeat the Koiches Hara. So from this was the shorish that Melech HaMashiach is, and these are Ammon and Moab. Why Ammon and Moab? So Lamaisa's there had this before. There are, and again that's why it says Bnei Ammon. They're the koyach of the continuity, and Mamela. That's why their keser is the continuity of. So therefore, when they said Anshe Gilad, they said Vayochel. Yiftach is going to begin, but he's not. He's not the end, because the end will be Malchus Beis David. So it's the beginning of the Malchus is being Kovesh Ammon, and but Lamais is the end will be who was. It's a Peladikadavar. The Swarm say, and I'm saying this Agav, that the Swarm say that the Yiftach had only one child. That even though there's Meforshim that say, but the Pashas and Sukkim is that he only had one bas, and that bas was either Kipshuto given as an Ayla, or was that never. So there was never a hemshich cloud from Yiftach. It was not a hemshich. So it was Vayochel that Yiftach was, and that's the union of Yiftach Loshen Hoseach, that he began, but it was not there was no Siyum Shadavar. There are three Amen. We had this before. There are three Amen that, of course, Baruch Hu told Avraham Avinu that he's going to get, besides the 7 Amen, he's going to get 3 more.
3 more.
The Kani, Knisi, and Kanmoni, and those 3 are connected Ammon, Moab, and Edom, and they will not be till Sof Yom. They will only be in Sof Yom. What are these 3? So the 3 would be together with the 7 would be 10. So why weren't the 3? Because the shleimus in the end by Mashiach, the shleimus is that an Adam has a rosh, and he has the midos that are in the guf. There's a rosh is the mokum hamachshava, and the guf is the mokum of midos, chesed, din. Just like we say that in the guf is the right hand, the yamin is connected the union of chesed. I always excuse myself to say that if anyone happens to be not happens to be, but anyone who's a lefty, I say that the majority of the world are righties.
Yeah.
Why is that? There's no. I don't think there's any real reason for it. In physical reason for it, I don't think they know. I don't think, as far as I know, because chesed has to be makriya. And we do things to be machriya. We do ma'asim and ma'asim mitzvahs. For example, when we wash in the Tilas, we take the kos on the left and we pour it up first on the right. So because that should be that it's mishamish, that the small is mishamish the yamin. That's why we put on the right shoe before the. I mean, there are a lot of things that we, but the right shoe before the left shoe. That why? Because these are inyanim. That means there's a hisgabrus of the right over the left. And so in the Bria, the Rebbeinu Shem made, that's what it says about tefillin, Yad Kohei, that the weaker hand is the left hand. It says in the Torah. But why? Because B'derek, generally speaking, is the weaker hand, the left hand, because the right has to be misgaber over the left. If Lu Yitzur, we'd have the left over the right, and all these things, we're not able to be cycled. So therefore, the inyanim of the guf, chesed, din, rachamim, all the midos are within the guf. The machshava, the rosh, has the machshava, and the machshava is what we try is to translate the machshava into the guf to inform the midas, and the one that's the ikar that does that is that which is called das. As we have in Shemona Esrei, either you say right, Chanena does say Deya bin Vahaska, or we say Chachma bin Vadas, depending on the nusach. So therefore, these three are the kochas of the rosh. The one that goes into the guf itself and informs the midas and ties them together is the Bechinas Hadas. Now, everybody knows, I mean, like the Sefer Yosher from Rabbeinu Tam, is that there are times when a person feels himself alive, feels himself, he calls it Eis Ava, there's a Zman of Ava, and there's a Zman of Sina. Sina is when it could be a Zman where a person is be'atzvus, a person is, or a person is, the world doesn't look so good to him. These are things that Rebbeinu Shem put into the kavua. That not everybody's going to always be on the same. What we tried to is the Hasidic word that said that in Parshas Emor that Rashi brings down Lahazer Hagdolim Alektanim, that it says that there's a mitzvah that the Gedolim have to tell the Ketanim what to do, to be mazer them what not to do with it. So the Hasidic word is Lahazer Hagdolim Alektanim means there's a time when a person's begadlus.
Mochin the godless.
What?
Mochin the godless.
Mochin the godless.
Rebbe's amongst friends. We can speak plainly.
There's Mochin the godless and there's Mochin the godless. So the pshat is that a person goes through with a godless hamakshava. That's a zman where he understands what the tachlis, his tachlis, with the tachlis of the bria. It's something that he experiences through his machshava. And then there's times of mochin the katnus when a person doesn't really experience it, and he knows we don't lose the emunah, but we're not experiencing it at that point. That's called mochin the katnus. So the Hasidic should say lahazer agadolim alaktana. A person has to be mazer, to light up, to fire. That when he's in katnus, when he's holding in a madrega without godless, to remember and bring in that I remember when it was begodless. Hold on to that. So that's how a person that can get through the mochin the katnus, because to remember, to hold on to to remember those manim that he's begodless. It's like I'm just saying this is not the same point, but it's the Maisa with I don't know if I have the exact pratim of it. But Reb Chaim Volozhin wanted to start. Was the first one who wanted to start the yeshiva in the tzura that yeshivas are somewhat in the tzura of what yeshivas are now. He went to his Rebbe the Grozal to ask him to tell him what he was thinking and what that he wanted. The Grozal listened and he didn't give him a teretz. He didn't give him a teretz. So he didn't know why. Later on, he came back and he said it, I don't remember now if it was months or weeks, he came back and said it again. And the Grozal said, do it. He said, why didn't he do it? He said, because before when you came, you were Yisragish. You can't make such a decision when you're enthusiastic, that you have to wait and wait until it's more even and you're not holding it because it's going to, and make the decision when that's the only way that you can make Alpi Torah, Alpi, because if you're going to make it when you're all excited, when you're all enthusiastic, it's not going to come from the right, and therefore it's going to, I'm just adding this, it'll depend on your enthusiasm. If your enthusiasm wanes, so then the idea goes. But Lamais is that's what the Lamais. I'm saying there's an Indian to always hold on to this. So this Mocha the Gal Modekans. We live generally in the general Bria. We are in a general Mocha the Kalas. As generally we are. Most of the time, that doesn't mean that we don't have times of Mocha the Gadlus. It means that the shleimus of that matzah, where we live in such a way that is infused with our machshava, with our havana, with our tveikus to kuchabriku, that is not, we don't live generally like that. And the Ramachal,
Ad kedei kach, that when we meet people who are constantly like that, we're scared of them, or we feel that there's something strange and perhaps not healthy about them.
right,
Ad kedei kach.
right. I do. That's a good point, and that's a lot of times, unfortunately, it's true.
Yeah.
But
Better living through better chemicals.
Can I go back to the Nezer or Keter? So I like to clear up for myself. It was found in Ammon.
it was the Keser Malchus, right?
It was said that King David HaMelech was wearing it, and now it was fit for him exactly, or it was for him. That's if you can clarify. So, is Ammon use the Keter or not use the Keter?
They used it,
They used it.
right?
But you mentioned that there was a hinting because Ruth and whatever, then it was for purposely going on for the King David.
Right. In other words, he had to incorporate this into Kedusha. That's what I'm saying. Rus and Nama were they were the shirish and the continuity of Malchus Beis David. The Rus was the shirish of Malchus, she's the Aim HaMalchus, and Nama was the continuity of Malchus Beis David. So the continuity was this